Hey, everybody, and welcome to Lords of the Night. For the record, that is not a typo in the title. Joining me tonight, as always, is the Lord of Punishment. Say hi, Scribe.
Hi, Scribe.
And I am your host, the Lord of Pain, the Ranting Monkey. SDA is still away. She will be back Monday. But for now, it is the Scribe and Money Show. Should we explain the lore or just leave it for people to figure out on their own?
Well, explaining it is kind of like tradition now.
Many, many moons ago, the first time we had the Scribe and Monkey Show, I made a typo and forgot the K in my own name. And then the next time we had the Scribe and Money Show, I unironically did it again. It was a complete accident, and since then it's just been habit. So
yeah,
again, not a typo anymore.
Yeah.
How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I spent the morning with my mommy, and we went out to breakfast and hung out and caught up on a bunch of things, and then she went off to hang out with my sister for today. That's usually the routine. She'll come out and spend a day with me and then go spend a day with my sister and then head back to the old homestead. So
cool. Did you have a good visit?
Yeah, it's always nice to spend time with Mom. She is one of the best people I know in my entire life, and it's good to spend time with her.
How'd she like the show?
Well, so apparently, I had her watching the stream in the living room on my TV via the YouTube app deal. And apparently she got through the first hour, but then the stream in the living room started like buffering.
Yeah.
And she doesn't know how to not make it buffer anymore or how to reload the screen. So she just kind of like sat there and read her book for the next hour. So she didn't actually catch the latter hour of the show.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So when I called her in, she's like, "What's going on?" Like, and she's like, "Oh, I didn't see the rest of it." Like, oh, but for the stuff that she did see or listen to, she liked it. She was very impressed with your energy last night.
Oh yeah.
Oh you were torqued. She said your friend was torqued. I was like, yeah, monkey gets a little energetic when it comes to politics and especially government transparency things. So yeah, he was in rare form last night. Yeah, a little animated last night, but otherwise, yeah. And so, but she. I told her about some of the things that Chad had been talking about and how they were so excited that Mama Scribe was around. And she's like, "Oh, that's very nice." Yeah.
Did anyone, or did you remember to ask her the cereal is soup? You told people you would.
I forgot, honestly. By the time the stream was over with, she was already in sort of sleepy mode. And so then it was a matter of setting up her bedding for the night because I had to unfold my couch and get everything ready for her. And then she was pretty much into nighttime mode. So it slipped my mind by the time
guys,
lights went out. Yeah, I know.
I told you he's ashamed of us.
Yeah, a little bit.
Anything else we need to go over before we jump into the news?
Monkey Dick, Jim Jones movies. Hit that like button if you have not already. And by all means, share our stuff everywhere.
Everywhere, yes.
Everywhere.
Write it on bathroom walls.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's a neat idea. Just see the Lords of the Night inside the stall with like no context. Like, what the fuck? And put a big pentagram underneath that. That'd be awesome.
I'm so confused by this. But yeah, guys, sorry.
What are you confused by? What, pentagram underneath Lords of the Night? I mean, it's evil stuff.
Somebody in chat had Lady Monkey text me, and I'm looking at this text, and I don't know what's going on.
Can you tell us what she texted you?
Well, it's chat from here. It looks like.
What?
I don't know.
Isn't she in the same room with you?
Yes, but she doesn't interrupt me while I'm streaming. She's polite.
She's interrupting you right now.
I know you'll explain it later, but I'm still explaining to Scribe what was going on. Sheesh.
Jesus Christ.
She says she'll explain it to you later.
In private?
No, that was not her. I'll explain it to you later. That was, I will tell you how it is, motherfucker. Thank you, Gregory Hurst. My mom was impressed with your energy last night. Yeah. So, what do we have in the news?
When you said the tone of Lady Monkey, I thought, "Where's my super suit? Why do you need to know?" All right. Well, let's see. Not a whole lot happened today. I was still waiting for some more fallout from the memo stuff, but maybe that's still in process.
Wait, fallout from what? Oh, the memo. Okay.
Yeah. Although CNN, this is their greatest headline, not their greatest headline. This is their headline of the moment, at least. Representative Nunez's Democratic opponents are capitalizing on the memo release.
Okay.
Yeah. Democrats challenging California Representative Devin Nunes for his House seat have seen some benefit to this House Intelligence Committee memo alleging the FBI misused its surveillance authority. The leading Democratic candidate hoping to unseat the Republican chairman of the committee has raised more than $100,000 in campaign donations since yesterday. Okay. Since Nunez's classified memo was released Friday, the campaign for California prosecutor Andrew Jans has raised $130,379 and is just shy of 4,000 individual contributions. Okay. Democrats have argued the memo misleading. Wait, hold on. Okay, my eyes are fucking with me tonight. Sorry, guys. Democrats have called the memo misleading and politically motivated, arguing that it omits key information from the underlying intelligence it's based on, without providing any evidence to show that. That was my addition to it, because they haven't.
Real quick, thank you, James Colley. My mom would laugh, but not like rough language. About our stream? Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, like my mom said last night, my sister has been a stand-up comedian and has used some pretty salty stuff on stage. So my mother has and my mother's also married to my father, so she has a relatively high tolerance for salty language.
Gotcha.
Let's see. Quote, there was a lot of hype and there wasn't really any substance to the memo, Jantz said in an interview Saturday with CNN.
Wait
a second. Hold on a second. Let me go back up a little bit. You are a California prosecutor, and that memo doesn't have any substance for you. Okay.
I can top that. Thank you, Point Curation. If misleading, then it would be good to know how. Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The only thing that they've said is misleading is that he did that the other evidence in the Page FISA warrant wasn't listed there. But it doesn't matter because McCabe himself said without the Steele dossier, they wouldn't even have sought a warrant. That's the substance, right? I'm getting them.
Well, I would think that a prosecutor seeing something like that and saying there isn't any substance would say that's why we need more information.
Well, let me bring up an article I read earlier today. You keep going with yours. Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, actually, I take it back. He actually goes on. Quote, it's important to provide context to what Devin Nunes has released, Jan said. It's important for the American people to get a full picture so they can reach their own conclusions about how well the FBI is doing their job. I agree. So why are you downplaying the memo when it's just the beginning of the inquiry, essentially? I don't understand. Okay. And then he just talks about how much money's been donated. So people are donating money out of emotion, not out of because they think you're awesome, dude. Just understand that first and foremost. Get some perspective if you don't already have it. I mean, good for you. You got a whole bunch of campaign donations. Guess how much money Hillary Clinton had in her war chest?
Yeah, no shit.
just so you know, prosecuting attorney Jantz. It doesn't necessarily mean anything yet. So, and CNN, I don't know what to tell you. You're promoting specific political candidates to the public. I think, if you guys, you want to talk about a lack of self-awareness, or maybe they're completely aware and CNN doesn't give a shit anymore. They just want to be like MSS News 2 or something. Or sorry, not MSS News, MSNBC 2. Sorry, MSS News 2.
Gregory Hurst, thank you. We're way more corrupt than that. Democrats. Yeah, no. Here's the CNN article I read earlier today. Okay. You ready for this shit?
I don't know.
The real shock of the Nunes memo. Okay. Yes. When I was a homicide prosecutor in the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office, my most challenging assignment was writing homicide cases. I'd get paged, often in the middle of the night, and a patrol car would pick me up and take me to the grisly scene of a recent murder. We're going to skip down a little bit, blah, 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 blah. I remember one night knocking... Oh, wait, I did skip one part that's important. Sometimes in cases of all kinds, as in the Carter Page matter, currently at the center of the controversy over a GOP memo on FBI surveillance, a search or surveillance warrant requiring the approval of a judge is required to gather critical evidence. I remember one night knocking on the door of an elegant Brooklyn Heights townhouse seeking such a warrant from a tough, respected judge at approximately 1 a.m. I had tried many murder cases before this judge and was hopeful she would grant a search warrant in my case. She looked a little angry when answering the door in her bathrobe with cigarette and scotch in hand. After berating me for bothering her at such an hour, she scrutinized my warrant application. It was based on the observations of a drug addict who claimed to have seen the defendant return to his apartment, gun in hand, after the murder, and then leave without the gun shortly thereafter. The addict was known to the cops and had provided reliable information in the past. Excuse me. The judge wasn't happy about the quality of my witness, but she'd been around long enough to know that witnesses in criminal cases often have credibility problems themselves. She granted us the warrant. A search of the suspect's apartment led to recovery of the murder weapon and a conviction. I learned that night that search and surveillance warrants are often issued on information supplied by even the sketchiest of sources. Unlike the street addict whose testimony often sends criminal defendants to prison for life, the now notorious Christopher Steele, a former British intelligence agent, appeared to be, by comparison, a seasoned professional, highly adept at gathering reliable information. Okay, now, this guy is comparing a sketchy witness who was correct with the FBI and DOJ signing off on a warrant they knew was false. If the information in this memo is true, they knew it was false. They knew that it was sketchy. They knew it was coming from not just somebody whose background might be a little questionable. Their motive was questionable. Mm-hmm. And CNN is present. Oh, no, it's perfectly normal for that to happen. Perfectly normal. No, it's really not. If he had lied
normal and acceptable.
Yeah, if he had lied to this judge in that case, he'd have been fucking disbarred for it. It'd be prosecutorial misconduct. And here he is. Oh, it's the same thing. It's really not. I would take the statement of a crack addict over Christopher Steele at this point.
I'm just continually surprised that the roots of part of the memo isn't being, or I haven't seen it yet in a mainstream article, being shown to be traced back to 4chan.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's, as far as I can tell, that's pretty much been shown. The evolution of that lie, that quote unquote, as Mr. Medicare calls it, fan fiction, turning into evidence, hasn't been reported that I've seen anywhere in a major source, which is just amazing to me. If that would tend to put a little doubt in anybody's mind if you would just let people know, by the way, part of this memo came from internet trolls that made shit up.
Well, in this case here, he tells the judge, he says, the judge was not happy with the background of my witness, being a drug addict.
Yeah.
They purposefully withheld the fact that this came from the DNC, which they knew. That it came from the Hillary campaign, which they knew.
Right.
And CNN is going out of their way to excuse this shit without paying attention to the underlying factors. Like, no, I haven't seen anybody pick up on what you picked up on with Orr's wife working for Fusion.
I haven't seen anybody say, isn't it a little odd that the wife of the guy who Steele went to start the process of the FISA warrant also works for the people that were employing Steele?
And not just worked, according to the memo, she didn't just work there. She was part of the Trump investigation there. That's what the memo says.
So is this, and this is all just sort of like musing off into the ether, I understand, but Is CNN so far into the trench in having to oppose Trump that they've just completely, and I mean completely, abandoned their journalistic objectivity?
Yes,
It's hard for me to it's hard for me to think otherwise at this point, because what they're putting out, I mean, putting the Russia stuff aside, because Russia stuff, honestly, everybody is going nuts over that stuff. It's sensational. You'd almost say that it's kind of like so overblown, it's practically inconsequential unless or until something happens. But when it comes down to stuff that is very suspiciously in Trump's favor, I suppose, like Trump said he was being wiretapped, and his campaign was, he said that they were using shaky information and lying about it, and they were. That seems to go by the wayside, even though it's, I mean, again, you would think the journalistic outlets, CNN included, would be looking into the memo to either prove or disprove it through other sources. I have something on that, but you have a super chat.
Thank you, Point Curation. Serious suggestion. Reach out to Legacy Media. God bless. Let me try this all again. Serious suggestion. Reach out to Legacy Media to tell them that. God
like Legacy Media knows this stuff. I mean, if Monkey or I or Mr. Medic or anybody on here, I mean, in the 3 minutes it took me to read the memo, the thing I zoned in on first and foremost was section 3, where it talked about his wife, the Attorney General's wife, being an employee of Fusion. I thought that was immediately the biggest red flag in my mind. This isn't something that the media isn't aware of or couldn't easily be aware of if they just looked at it.
And I would like to point out that the at the end of that was not your statement there, Point. That was my inability to read correctly.
Yeah.
If I thought it would work, I would say, yeah, reach out. But here's the thing, and we know this to be true in the past, but there seriously seems to be a very coordinated media effort here. And the reason I say that is because I've seen multiple sources repeating the exact same lines. Mm-hmm. If you watch Rachel Maddow from last night, she literally starts her segment on this the same way James Comey did his tweet.
That's it?
That's it. That's how she started it. And then she goes right into the same shit that we were reading last night. You know, it's all about Papadopoulos. No, it's really not. That's just something that they're using to go, this memo does not exonerate Trump at all. Not even a little bit. But what it does do is show some very sketchy shit from our FBI.
So in regards to other things happening, now I have to preface this by saying that this is just something that I've read from one place, but it's coming from Greg Jarrett at Fox News, and he is claiming to have corroboration on this. Now, if this becomes a greater story in the next couple of days, I don't know, but he's posted this and he's been very vocal on this today. So I'll just read the tweet that kind of summarizes it all. And this came out about 9 hours ago. A second source has now confirmed to me that in a meeting on January 10th, Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein used the power of his office to threaten to subpoena the calls and texts of the Intelligence Committee to get it to stop its investigation of DOJ and FBI, likely an abuse of power and obstruction.
Nice.
If that is true, if that does not do anything for the look of Rosenstein or the implications of the memo in regards to Rosenstein and the DOJ.
If that's true, well, it's not surprising really, again, with what's said in the memo. I mean, in the memo, they talk about how Steele was talking to Orr about how desperate he was not to get Trump elected.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of the stuff that we already know is just fucking insane. And let's put this in perspective, guys. Nobody out there is saying that what is in the memo is wrong. What they're saying is it's incomplete.
Inaccurate or something. Yeah. Misleading.
Well, misleading. Point Curation, thank you. Legacy Meet. Oh, God damn it.
You want me to do it?
Please. I am so sorry.
All right. Legacy Media knows, but if you tell them you know, they know. Put the screws on them. The media is letting us down.
Well, you're not wrong, but
we don't have the screws to put, unfortunately.
And I don't think they would care. I mean, this is information we're all reading at the same time, and every one of them wants to ignore the whole damn thing. Like Rachel Maddow, it was like I want to say 26-minute clip from her show last night that she talked about this. The idea of the FBI basically faking information for a warrant never comes up. Not once, even though that is the central component of this memo.
Yeah, and I've seen back when I used to watch Rachel Maddow, and there was a time where I did in the Bush administration or under the Bush administration. I recall several stories where Rachel Maddow was interrogating stories regarding the FBI and the DOJ and everything else that looked shady. So, yeah, this is just selective obliviousness. It really is. It's stupid.
As much as the governmental part of this pisses me off, the media on this, oh my God, even if you think, oh, no, this doesn't exonerate Trump, which it doesn't, there's enough here that you should be going, guys, we need to ask more questions.
Yes.
At the very least. But yeah, I ranted on this all night last night, so I'm going to cede the rest of my time back to the distinguished gentleman from the Scribe Light channel.
Okay. Well, in that case, we
have a birthday.
Hey, oh, what? Whose birthday?
Well, we have a birthday tomorrow, but we're not on the air tomorrow. Raymond Lewis has a birthday tomorrow.
Raymond Lewis?
Raymond, you know what we do?
Raymond Lewis can't lose. Sorry.
Everybody loves Raymond Lewis.
Raymond Lewis can't lose. Everybody loves Raymond Lewis, yes. Okay.
Are you ready?
I was born ready.
And a 1, and a 2, and a happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Raymond Lewis. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Raymond.
Happy birthday.
I hope you have a great day.
All right. So, do you like Russia?
I like Ivan Drago.
Oh, I must break you. Well, guess who doesn't like Russia?
Hillary.
Syria.
Oh, yeah, they're not real happy with him.
Russian plane shot down in Syria.
Oh, shit.
A Russian warplane was shot down Saturday in Syria, according to Russian state-run news agencies. The Russian Ministry of Defense confirmed one of its Su-25 warplanes was downed in Idlib province in northwest Syria. Militants shot down the plane in an area controlled by al-Nusra Front fighters, according to the RIA Novosti report. Russia and Turkey, which is responsible for a de-escalation zone in Idlib, were taking measures to return the pilot's body, the defense ministry said. The ministry said more than 30 militants in the area were killed in a retaliatory strike, according to Novosti, citing radio intercepts. The defense ministry said the pilot was able to eject from the aircraft before it crashed, according to state-run news agency TASS, but died while fighting al-Nusra fighters. TASS reported that, quote, according to preliminary information, the plane was shot down from a portable anti-aircraft missile system, unquote. But a witness who spoke to CNN via Skype on condition of anonymity, so reliable sources, said the jet was shot down by Free Syrian Army fighters with a group called Jaish al-Nasr, as two jets were, quote, striking the village of Masaran on the southern side of Sarakip. The witness said that a pilot parachuted. A Free Syrian Army fighter in the area told the source that the pilot, quote, engaged with FSA fighters with a pistol, but they killed him eventually, unquote. The source left the area after the second jet fired more missiles. Other witnesses said the pilot was taken from the crash site, according to Rami Abdel Rahman, director of the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, a UK-based monitoring group. It was unclear whether the pilot was alive or dead. So a plane went down. We don't know which side of the conflict actually shot it down, depending on who you ask, is basically what it's at right now.
Are these fuckers insane? The Russians don't fuck around.
Yeah.
Just let the plane fly over.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's not going to be good. That's not going to turn out well for them. I mean, would they say 70 already dead? That's I don't think that's going to be the end of it.
Well, it depends. I mean, if Russia is using this, if they're turning it into a propaganda event for the sake of getting bad blood against Syria, when in fact it was done by people trying to free Syria. Yeah, I don't know. That this is messy. Like if the witnesses on the ground say that it was like, the Russians were doing something really lousy to people and they were defending themselves, and then you've got Russia saying, no, it was Syria that did it, then yeah. So I don't know. This one of those things, guys, where we got he said, she said, and we don't know what the truth is, but it's sketchy that we've got two opposing stories on it. So don't know.
One to keep an eye on, that's for sure.
Yeah. Let's see. Next, in political news, again, Paul Ryan deletes tweet about tax cuts after Twitter backlash. House Speaker Paul Ryan deleted a tweet Saturday touting the GOP tax overhaul after critics called him out for appearing out of touch with the reality of low-income individuals' financial situations. The tweet shared the story of a secretary who, according to a report by the Associated Press, was, quote, pleasantly surprised her pay went up $1.50 a week, unquote. Quote, a secretary at a public high school in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, said she was pleasantly surprised her pay went up by $1.50 a week. She said that will more than cover her Costco membership for the year, Ryan tweeted with a link to the article. A basic Costco membership costs $60 a year. People, including several prominent Democrats, noted on social media that $1.50 per week is not a significant pay bump. Quote, Paul Ryan deleted his embarrassing tweet of a blatant admission, okay, because he and Republicans don't want you to know the truth. The GOP tax scam is a gift to corporate America and the top 1% at your expense. He also doesn't want you to know he got $500,000 from the Koch family.
Okay. Yeah. Bragging about $1.50 a week. Not significant, but it's still more than without it, isn't it?
By math, yes.
Are they literally arguing that this person is worse off?
Well, I think they're arguing that in comparison to what Paul Ryan has received and what corporate entities receive via the tax cut, $1.50 a week extra for your average person doesn't really rate.
Well, yeah, but the problem with that is Paul Ryan didn't receive $500,000 from the Koch brothers. He received $500,000 to his campaign from them. There's actually rules against people spending that on themselves, as we've seen certain people recently get in trouble for.
Well, it also means that there's $500,000 he doesn't need to pay out of his own pocket for his campaign.
Sure, but that's how our political system works. And if the Democrats want to stop taking public or money from the public, that's their choice. I don't see any of them doing it. As for yes, people who make more money are going to have even bigger chunks of their money not taken. That's how lowering taxes for everybody works. If you're only making $20,000 a year and your tax bill's cut by 2%, that's a lot different than somebody who's making $1 million a year and their same tax bill being cut by 2%. All I'm getting at here is it's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, his tweet, I wouldn't say it was necessarily out of touch. It was what's that phrase? Bad optics. It's definitely bad optics. But the argument that this person is somehow worse off because they're only getting $1.50 more a week, that's $1.50 more than they were getting. And I get it. It's not much money, but
Yeah,
It's still more than they were.
Yeah, no, I think it's if the Speaker of the House is touting that as some kind of success story, I'm afraid he is out of touch. That is tone deaf as hell. $1.50 a week, and then saying like, "Oh, your paycheck's bigger." Yeah, and I can buy that stick of gum I always wanted. Yeah. No, I am a little bit on the side of the people going like, "The fuck are you talking about?"
But I invited mining joining. God, motherfucker!
Jesus Christ, dude!
I swear to God, I can talk, y'all.
Mhm.
I invited Minding Freedom to join us, and he's here now. Say hi, Minding.
Hi.
Wait. I was told it was you and me. Who invited the German?
The Germans invite themselves. Just ask the Polish.
Weibo, is that true? Okay.
She can't answer. She was with the German last night.
Oh.
Yeah, how you been, Minding? We haven't talked to you for a long time.
From what I heard, Weibo took a shower afterwards. I made her do it.
Oh.
Nice.
I'm fine. I was pretty much on hiatus for all of January, but I'm back.
Do you see what Lady Monkey just put in chat?
What did she put in chat? What she put in chat, Monkey?
She wrote, "Ranting Monkey has gone so retarded, I'm expecting JF to come knocking down my door anytime now."
Oh,
this is why I love this woman. Baby, I love you. She's over there laughing at her joke, which she should.
I love you too, honey.
So you walked in, Minding Freedom, on us talking about a tax thing. I don't have any more to say on it. Do we have another story, or do we want to move on to MSS?
I've got another story.
Let's do one more. Okay.
It may in fact have ended up in MSS News. It's that kind of story, but I caught it on Twitter just before we started. So here you go. PC culture killed our school's father-daughter dance, say parents.
Of course it did.
A Staten Island elementary school scrapped its traditional father-daughter dance this coming Friday because of the Department of Education's new gender guidelines. The DOE ordered schools to, quote, eliminate, unquote, any, quote, gender-based, unquote, practices like the dance in a March 2017 policy update unless they serve a clear educational purpose.
What?
That means that every dance needs to be canceled. Dances don't serve an educational purpose. Okay. The PS65 shindig, set for February 9th, was abruptly postponed until next month after the school's PTA realized the dance would run afoul of the rules. Quote, until we understand what we are legally permitted to do, we need to table this event. You know, Footloose is coming to mind all of a sudden.
Yeah, no shit.
PTA President Tony Bennett wrote to Toni Bennett wrote to a private school parents group on Facebook. Some parents were hopping mad at what they saw as political correctness intruding on a quaint tradition now in its third year. Quote, they're trying to take away everything that everybody grew up on and has come to know, and I don't think it's fair or right, said Matthew West, a 32-year-old father of two daughters at the school, Lily and Willow. Quote, they should leave it the way it was, father, daughter, mother, son. Of PC culture, he said, I hate it. People are just becoming too scared to talk. Quote, it's not fair at all, said Jose Garcia, 37, who's gone to the past two dances with his 9-year-old daughter, Jolene. Quote, I have nothing against no one. Double negative, Dad. I have nothing against no one, but I don't think that it should affect the school or the kids for that matter, unquote. A disappointed Jolene said they had a dance party. We got to wear dresses and hang out with our friends. Quote, all of this gender crap needs to stop, said Mom Akaya Cameron, who added that her third grader had a great time with Dad last year. Parents pointed out PS65 has no gender inequality issues because the Stapleton School had a mother-son bowling event last year. Yeah, so anyway, the school is being, well, I don't blame the school administration for being cagey given the rules that the DOE set down. Okay. because the DOA says you can't have something that's gender-based that doesn't serve an educational purpose. Technically, this dance falls underneath that restriction.
Sure, yeah.
But it shouldn't matter.
I personally doubt that. I think dances do serve an educational purpose. If you don't know how to dance, you're going to have it harder in life.
I don't know how to dance. You're right. Here I am.
I rest my case.
I don't blame the school, because who wants to get sued, really, especially a school where funds are already limited. And well, what a dumbass fucking rule. You can't have, I mean, it's a father-daughter dance, for fuck's sake. If this had been something that me and my daughter were looking forward to, and they pulled it out from under us with this fucking retarded explanation, I would be livid. I would. It can't have a fuck off.
Otherwise, I don't have any other stories queued up. So unless there's something else,
let's see if we can find some Florida man. I could do with some Florida man after the last 2 days of that goddamn memo.
All right. Well, guys, if you have news stories you'd like us to take a look at during the course of the stream, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSSNews. Can't promise we'll get to them all, but we'll look at as many as we can. And we always appreciate Florida man or Florida woman stories and such to perpetuate the myth that is Florida man. Let's see. So, what is this? I'm looking at the photo on the article is catching my attention, but
are there boobs?
No, it's a little abstract. This comes from Ellie, the enthusiastic elephant. And this is from the Australian Business Traveler. Okay. Language. Now it's my turn. And now I can't read the article because the Australian Business Traveler doesn't want me to read it because I'm using an ad blocker. And
well,
never mind. Sorry, Australian Traveler. Go ahead.
Then I'm going to read some super chats. P-Dog Knight says, how the hell did the skunk get in there? Y'all need a lawyer dog. We should have you on sometime. Have you ever watched his video, Scribe?
P-Dog Knight?
Yeah.
I would be lying if I said I had. I'm sorry.
Oh, you should. He's got a nice, sexy voice. P-Dog, thank you for the donation. And I almost called him Sexy Collie. James Collie.
Whoa!
So moms can play with sons' balls, but men can't dance with daughters.
Oh,
wow.
We have a Florida man story. Okay, cool. This comes from senior staff reporter Jack the motherfucking Cockring. Oh, great. Man gets 30 years for birthday sex attempt with a 9 and 11-year-old.
Jesus Christ.
Authorities say a Florida man wanted to have sex with a 9 and 11-year-old girls to celebrate his 35th birthday. He was sentenced to 30 years in federal prison instead. According to court records, an undercover FBI agent began chatting with Andrew Goldberg online this summer. Goldberg allegedly told the undercover agent he sexually molested his friend's 7-year-old sister in 2011. He also told the agent his birthday was coming up and that he wanted to celebrate with a young girl. The agent offered to set it up. According to court documents, Goldberg confessed to the arrangement. He was sentenced Wednesday. The Orlando Sentinel reports Goldberg pleaded guilty to attempting to entice minors to engage in sexual activity. His attorney said he was addicted to drugs as a result of sexual abuse he suffered as a kid from his babysitter.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, no.
Fuck off. No. You are responsible for your actions. I'm glad he didn't get his birthday wish, and I really hope we get a story about what he gets for his next birthday.
Okay, so this is a story that I had queued up last night to read, but we kind of ran out of time for reasons. But here we go.
Going to say because of me.
I'm sorry. Are you a psychic all of a sudden?
No, I'm just intuitive.
Well, then. You're right. This comes from New Fate 26. Arrest made in connection with Las Vegas massacre. The man who sold ammunition to Las Vegas gunman Stephen Paddock was arrested on Friday on charges of manufacturing and selling armor-piercing bullets without having the proper licensing in violation of federal law. Federal agents searched Douglas Haig's home in Arizona on October 19th after finding his fingerprints on unfired armor-piercing ammunition inside Paddock's hotel room. Haig and Paddock first met at a gun show in Phoenix approximately 1 month before the shooting. Paddock later came to Haig's home in Mesa, Arizona, quote, to buy 720 rounds of tracer ammunition, which leaves behind a trail of light when it is used. Mr. Paddock asked for a box to carry the rounds to his car, and Mr. Haig gave him a used box that included his name and address. That was their only transaction, he said. Quote, I had no contribution to what Paddock did, Haig said. I had no way to see into his mind. The product I sold him had absolutely nothing to do with what he did. I'm a vendor. I'm a merchant whose name was released. Haig's attorney, Mark Victor, maintains that Haig has nothing to hide and told reporters Friday that his client chose to speak to the press only to, quote, protect his reputation. It can't hold the guy responsible for what the guy did.
Sure, but if he's breaking the law anyway, that's something he can still be.
Yeah, if he violated federal law by manufacturing ammunition without a license, then yes, prosecute him on that pace. But he's not responsible for those people's deaths. I have a feeling that maybe some people will be holding him to account for that, though.
No, yeah, you're right. I think linking him this way in the story, I mean, it's kind of hard not to, but it's also kind of a huge douche move because it makes it sound like, oh, this guy was involved.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay, this one comes from Jack the motherfucking Cockring. I can only imagine where this is going. This comes from Polygon. We love Polygon. The headline reads, Understanding Ugandan Knuckles in a Post-Pepe the Frog World.
Oh, dear Christ.
This is written by Julia Alexander.
Do you know the way?
I don't know where this is going to go. Know Your Meme editor-in-chief, Brad Kim, sees meme culture, to an extent, as having two distinct periods, pre- and post-Pepe the Frog. Okay. That may not seem like enough time to encapsulate an entire history of internet shenanigans, but Kim suggests that Pepe the Frog, Matt Fury's cartoon frog that was degraded from harmless meme to hate symbol,
oh, fuck off,
represents a cultural movement in memehood bigger than almost anything before it. Pepe was co-opted and weaponized by alt-right groups, a radical movement that propagates racist, misogynistic, xenophobic, and various other hateful ideologies, and used as a form of harassment towards those on an opposing side of the political spectrum. And
Wait, a form of harassment?
Yes.
Are you fucking kidding me?
And used as a form of... Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me finish the sentence.
Okay.
No, go ahead, German.
Oh. Lion Patriot just harassed me in chat.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. What? Did someone say
he posted a frog.
Wait. Oh, my God. Okay. Used as a form of harassment towards those on an opposing side of the political spectrum and hit mainstream recognition during one of the most tumultuous political periods. Yeah, thanks to Hillary Clinton, by the way. Pepe represented the total power a character meme could yield. Okay, we got that. We understand. All right. Character memes like Pepe take off because those in on the joke, and it is a joke, Julia Alexander, just so you know. Those in on the joke, quote, create a lore, Kim said, giving it a meaning deeper than just a funny image. One of the most popular and widespread character memes on the internet right now is Ugandan Knuckles, a deformed version of... Sorry, go ahead.
I want to contest that those who are in on the joke give it a deeper meaning. It's those that don't understand the joke that give it a deeper meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a deformed version of Knuckles from Sonic the Hedgehog who speaks lines taken from a no-budget Ugandan action movie, Who Killed Captain Alex? I didn't know that. I had no idea that's where it was from. I just thought it was guys on there going, okay. The meme gained widespread popularity in VR Chat, a Second Life-esque game where players inhabit 3D avatars. Many VR Chat players took on the form of a 3D Ugandan Knuckles avatar and ran around pestering other players. Ugandan Knuckles has been described as problematic and racist since its emergence on VR Chat, but like Pepe the Frog, its origins weren't based on hateful content. And it still isn't, guys.
Content, you dick or bitch, whichever implies.
The design for the character came from a 1-second clip of a video created by YouTuber Greg Zilla in early 2017 and was turned into a 3D avatar months later. The origin of the meme was innocent, but as critics began pointing out the gradual evolution of the joke into something more nefarious, which you are projecting. So guess who the problematic people really are?
Where's the nefarious part?
The retaliation got stronger. Blah, 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 blah. Is Ugandan Knuckles the new Pepe? If you say so. That's my response. If you say it is, then it must be, because you are the guys turning it into something that it's not. You are projecting a meaning onto something beyond that of its actual. It's a cartoon.
It's quite literally people being silly assholes. That is it.
It's people. Have you watched the videos? It's like the army of little midgets running around a female avatar, clicking at her and going like, "You are the wheel queen." You know, it's a.
You are not.
Wait, Weibo does that too?
Yes, that too. Actually, yeah. If somebody can create a Ugandan Knuckles version of Weibo's face and then run around VR chat going, saying, "You don't know Dipole. You don't know Dipole.
No. You don't know the chicken.
Oh, you don't know the chicken.
Oh,
there
yeah.
You go.
You don't know the chicken.
You don't know the chicken.
You don't know the chicken, brother." With that retarded article read, how about we move on to some YouTube time?
Sure.
Minding. Okay, so you just muted yourself as I'm getting ready.
Just coughing a little. Sorry.
Oh, that's good. I do it myself.
That's why I muted myself.
What have you been working on, bud? By the way, it's nice to see you back.
Yeah, I've been working on a video today most of the time. I wrote the script yesterday, recorded and edited everything today on a video about the grid girls in Formula One. I mean, a lot of people have already done videos on that, but as a lifelong Formula One fan that I am, started watching the races, the Grand Prix age 7. Saw all 5 or the 5 consecutive world titles of Michael Schumacher happen.
Oh wow. Yeah.
I grew up with that. That was one of my things. I even just I hope I don't dox myself with this, but I even had I don't know if you can call it a career, but I was competing in sim racing for a few years.
Cool.
About 5 to 10 years ago. So I'm very much into racing, and Formula One is the top of it all. So like I have a really deep relationship to the sport, and to see it hijacked by people caving to feminazis, it's just I was so pissed when I recorded that today.
Are you allowed to say feminazi?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh, the word Nazi is being thrown around so much in Germany that it doesn't matter.
Oh, cool.
It's ridiculous.
Real quick, Gregory Hirsch, thank you so much. Are they really worried about jackbooted Nazis marching down the street asking, "Do you know the way? Humor is hateful, outlaw it." Yeah, no, I would actually pay money to see that.
Imagine in Charlottesville with those tiki torches, all like, "Do you know the way?"
That would have made Charlottesville a lot more humorous.
Oh yeah.
I do want to throw this out there for anybody who does make YouTube videos. You mentioned, some people have already made videos on this. Being first making a video is not always a great thing. One, there's a chance you will rush to judgment and miss something. But two, it's often better to get traffic after it's become a good thing rather than before. So never worry about the fact that people have already made a video. As long as you're doing your own thing, do your own thing.
I wasn't worrying about it.
I was just giving this information to anybody who makes videos.
Okay.
Wow, you're so self-centered, German.
It's in my genes. What should I do?
It's in your genes. What you should do? How about eugenics?
Yeah, fuck. Scribbles, we're gonna let you go last because you have ads tonight.
That's true.
I am working on a video. Can you guess what it's about?
No.
It's about the memo. I won't lie.
Oh.
You guys have heard most of my thoughts on it, but this is going to be breaking it down based on some of the media responses I've seen, as well as pointing out why this fucking matters and why it's not okay to just gloss over the important parts. Other than that, I did a live stream today with No Bullshit, Irate Bear, and then God, I always fuck up his name. Declan Black. That's how you say it. Joined us a little later on. He had some issues with No Bullshit, which almost started to turn into a shouting match. I had to stop that because I wasn't doing a kumite kind of thing. It was a friendly discussion. Some of the comments on that video are interesting to say the least. I had one person who actually told me I shouldn't associate with No Bullshit. If you don't like him, I understand. That's your business, but I will talk to whoever I damn well please. But yeah, that's what I did today. So Scribbles.
Let's see. I've started working on a new video. I should have it out tomorrow. I just need to record the audio and throw it together. It's not going to be a super long one. It's actually it is a small portion of like a 2-hour-long panel discussion, but it's the portion that caught my brain the most, and I'm going to just do a little bit on that and see what people think. But we'll get to that. It's ostensibly about Martin Luther King Jr. Ostensibly. But it's not in any way, shape, or form. But anyway, guys, ads. So we had lots of interesting ones from last night. And here we go. Mashisu wanted an ad for the Weibo Jones Institute of the Many Sexual Uses of Chicken Parts, narrated by Undoomed. Now, I will do my best to try to do an Undoomed voice. I'm pretty sure I won't be able to maintain even my bad imitation of it. So that's my, disclaimer ahead of time. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Weibo Jones Chicken Fucking Institute. This semester, we'll make sure you're not a moron, a fucking moron, about how to creatively craft chicken carcasses into dildos, butt plugs, and lube. The Weibo Jones Institute uses only the most sacred of Polish poultry traditions in making sure you get the most out of choking your chicken. So apply for the Weibo Jones Chicken Fucking Institute right away before the semester cutoff, because it's either fuck with the chickens or be a cuck-a-doodle-doo.
Cuck-a-doodle-doo. I like that.
Okay. Next, Mr. Baker wanted an ad for the Empire of Gold by Andy McDermott. The temptations of secrets, fortune, and greed plunge Nina Wilde and Eddie Chase into a dizzying adventure in Andy McDermott's Empire of Gold. In the darkest heart of South America, Nina and Eddie must navigate a storm of political intrigue and drug cartel violence to try and piece together the map to the Golden City, all the while hunted by killers and the ghosts of Eddie's past. And this time, the price of discovery might not just mean Nina and Eddie's lives, but their very love for one another. Empire of Gold by Andy McDermott, now available from Mr. Baker Publishing.
Nicely done. I'm telling you, just finish the series, man. Have them ready.
Yep. Let's see. Sanguine wanted a random superpower serum with one per person limit, I guess. So we assumed it's like this is a one-shot deal for a Captain America type thing. Sanguine Industries and Abraham Erskine Pharmaceuticals has developed the serum of a lifetime. One lifetime. Perhaps your lifetime. On March 1st, a world-spanning lottery will take place so that one random person will win the choice to be injected with the serum and become something greater than human. And what fantastic ability will be granted? An immunity to heat and fire. Become the perfect fireman. Never have another sunburn. Walk through the desert without fear of increased dehydration. Save lives or simply save yourself. The choice is yours. Lottery tickets now available at your local convenience store.
Nice, nicely done.
I try to come up with like I try to think what's a one-off superhuman ability. For some reason that came to mind. I don't know. All right. Then Mr. Baker wanted, oh God, an ad for a historical documentary about the history of Elam and its relations with their Mesopotamian neighbors. Okay. Mr. Baker Productions and the History Channel bring you the story of a fallen empire. 3,000 years before the birth of Christ, the nation of Elam was established along the coast of what we now call Iran. And for over 2,000 years, Elam would survive countless kings, dynasties, and conquerors who would attempt to rule the fertile lands in the cradle of civilization. With a cast of thousands and cutting-edge special effects, you will see the growth of Elam to its zenith and then its rapid fall as it is overtaken and eventually wiped out by the Median and Persian empires. Join host Morgan Freeman as we explore the rise and fall of the Elamite Empire and how the vicissitudes of the past have led us to the Middle East we know today. Elam, the Empire of Dreams, coming soon.
All right.
Snubber 13 wanted an ad about Vernaculus's upcoming series about Stalin, and I am allowed to spice it up however I desire. The stitch-faced Wunderkind is at it again, this time taking on the mustached marauder, the gore master from Gory, the one, the only, Stalin. Get ready for Vernaculus to take you on a journey through history and high body counts as he delves into the past to bring us a warning for the future. Witness the brutal dictator's rise from a simple weatherman to becoming leader of the Social Democrats, and from there, his bloody and ruthless revolutionary ascension to ultimate power. Vernaculus will wow you with his wit and witticism as only an over-intellectualized, lazy-eyed nerd boy can, providing insight and context to a modern figure of near-mythic stature. And what does the history of Stalin tell us about our current year? Find out by heading over to Vernaculus's channel, hitting that subscribe button, and getting ready for Stalin Off a Cliff. This message was brought to you by Snubber 13.
Nice. Nicely done.
I bumbled over the word over-intellectualized.
That's a good one to fuck up.
I guess. And, you know, I found out Stalin actually did start out as a meteorologist before he became a whole political guy. Kind of weird. Okay, point curation. So this is a bit of a weird one. It's an abstract one. Ad for YouTube creators to keep perspective and to put effort into all things worth effort. And you have a super chat.
Thank you, Gregory Hurst. If they made a documentary about Morgan Freeman, who would narrate it? Food for thought. That's James Earl Jones.
No, the best Morgan Freeman impersonator they could find.
I still like James Earl Jones. This is Morgan Freeman.
No, that's James Earl Jones. Mr. Jones, I think you're losing your mind. Okay, let's see. So, when embarking on a career or hobby as a YouTube content creator, especially in the realm of critique and commentary on current events, your greatest enemies are not the trolls or the critics, but rather complacency and comfort. It is far too easy to settle into a cozy bubble of support and validation from viewers who are like-minded and adoring of you. If you're not careful, you may end up buying your own press. And it is a cold revelation to ever discover that your press has a circulation of 1. If you mean to become a skeptic of any sort, always remember that the first ideas and opinions you need to interrogate are your own. Allow for the possibility that you might be wrong, and you'll find yourself leaning towards being more correct than those who proceed lacking perspective. This message has been brought to you by Point Curation.
Well done. I have a super chat here from Krampus from Kansas. 1, minding, make Germany take over Alsace-Lorraine again. I'm tired of being part French. And 2, Brooks said he had never heard of Declan. Then he said he knew Declan was interacting with him in the comment sections. Disingenuous. Okay, this is part of No Bullshit's personality that you have to understand. When somebody is giving him shit, he will often pretend he doesn't know who they are. It's a little juvenile and childish, but it wasn't disingenuous. It's something he thinks is funny. So if you took that seriously, you probably haven't been paying a lot of attention to No Bullshit. So
and I feel like I have to address the first one.
Oh, please do. Please do.
First off, we don't want that part of France. We don't want any part of France because look at France. I mean,
oh
yeah.
Even the Germans don't want you.
Yeah, exactly. We tried a few times, but they just they ran it into the ground, really. So yeah, nothing to get there. But more importantly, even if we were to take Alsace-Lorraine back, it wouldn't matter because it all depends on when your ancestors were living there. Was it German or was it French? It doesn't matter what it is today. So yeah, well, it was changing over the centuries. It's like the most contested part in German French history. Right now
And one
it's
more
French, but
one more donation. Thank you, Point Curation. Thanks, Scribe. Interesting take. Good job on it.
Thank you. I've only got a couple left here. Jaster Muriel, the AKA of Boba Fett, an ad for a space military science fantasy. Think Halo with elves and dwarves with an eldritch horror as a book series. So that was convoluted, but I gave it a shot. In the far-flung reaches of future space, the eldritch scourge, known only as the crawling chaos, slowly engulfs world after world, corrupting civilizations with madness and mutation. All that stand in its way is the combined forces of uneasy allies from 3 different galaxies, the techno-militia of hominids from the Milky Way, the elven expansionists of Andromeda, and the dwarven architects of the Mangelic Cloud. Together, these 3 peoples will have to combine their forces of magic and technology to fight back against the esoteric horrors of non-Euclidean angles, all while battling each other for supremacy and survival. From best-selling author Jaster Muriel comes the first chapter in the epic space saga, The Nameless Void, Book 1, Azatoth at Tau Ceti.
All right.
And then we have Ryan Walters and also Point Curation, combined sort of, so I put a bit more time into this one. An ad for a horror series called Florida Man. Think Slender Man combined with Ghost Rider, The Spirit of Vengeance. And so since we'd already done a Florida Man Netflix series previously, I just turned this into season 2. Coming soon to Netflix Originals, the new season of madness and mystery that can only come from one state in the Union. For centuries, he has inhabited the forests and swamps and has been known by many names. Chufi, Stikini, Long Ears, and the Breathmaker. But now he drifts, nameless but for those he settles upon for a single night, to overtake and compel regular people into acts of madness and delirium. But this time, the horror is beginning to take shape. With his acts of insanity ever increasing a belief in his existence, the amorphous power has begun to congeal into the nightmares and fantasies of those it encounters. And when all is said and done, what will be his final form? Ryan Walters Studios and Point Curation Productions brings you the next evolution in the legend that, with each new believer, gains a stronger foothold into our world. Get ready for the second anthology of sinister stories from the Sunshine State, Florida Man, Season 2, The Flesh of Faith. Coming this March, only on Netflix.
You just made me think of something very scary.
Okay.
What do you think the final form of Florida Man would be?
I don't know.
I'm thinking like Kim Jong-un in Florida.
That sounds a bit too passé, honestly.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to tell you.
I apologize.
I do this for a living, Monkey. And lastly, Mule 1066. This was an interesting one. Mule 1066 donated to just have my mother make a choice for an ad.
Oh, yes.
So it took a little bit of Well, it took a little bit of cajoling because my mom wasn't quite sure what to say. She didn't quite know how it worked. So I explained to her some options and things, and she gave me 3 elements. She gave me a genre, and she gave me 2 actors that from her day. So here we go. Metro Goldwyn Mayer presents Peter Lorre, star of M and Casablanca, and Jean Harlow, glittering girl of Bombshell and Dinner at 8, in an all-new knockout motion picture of love, mystery, and murder. Watch Peter Lorre as Raul Mendoza, a dedicated heart surgeon on a mission of mercy in the jungles of Ecuador. And Jean Harlow is his loyal wife, Madeline, tired of the tropics and yearning for excitement. Together, they'll find themselves mixed up in a case of a stolen heart and a man without a face. And it all leads to a conspiracy of nefarious Nazis up to no good. Experience the romance, excitement, and danger in the greatest shocker to grace the silver screen. MGM Studios is proud to present The Rio Protocol.
Nice. Nicely done.
Yeah, she wanted like a romantic mystery with Peter Lorre and Jean Harlow. And,
so even your mom gives you harder shit than just like deodorant.
Well, no. Well, yeah, harder. Well, I told her, I said, okay, I gave her the option to say, well, you could give me something as simple as toothpaste or barbecued flavored toothpaste or something, or you could like ask for a movie trailer.
She's like, fuck no, I'm gonna make this hard for you.
And I said, well, tell you what, give me, I told her, I said, well, you know, think of a kind of movie you like and give me a couple actors that you like. And she came up with the actors in the genre. And I just went, okay.
So that works. That works.
And I looked up some old MGM Studios actual trailers to see how kind of like structured their ads as much as I could. And that was the result. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for the donations. I hope you enjoyed the ads. And that is all for me.
We'll get to YouTube drama here in a second. I have my Twitter open.
That's a bad idea.
There's a little ad playing for the trailer. It's an ad for the trailer for Mission Impossible Fallout, which apparently is debuting tomorrow. The trailer, not the movie.
Oh yeah, they have trailer teasers now.
Okay, but it's Mission Impossible. It's not Star Wars. Is anybody really like going, oh my God, the newest Mission Impossible?
You know how much money the Mission Impossible movies have consistently made? It is a big deal.
It's not that big of a deal. It is not that big of a deal.
Here, let me do a little research real quick for you.
Nobody's sitting at home jacking it to the thought of this gay midget in another action movie. How much did the last Mission Impossible make?
All right. Well,
box office.
I'm glad you asked that question. Okay, so Rogue Nation had a budget of $150 million. Box office, $682 million.
U.S. or total?
I believe that is total. I'll double check to see. I would be surprised if that was domestic only, but let me check real quick.
Yeah,
worldwide. Domestic $195 million.
Yeah, domestic $100 on a $150 million budget. Fuck off. Nobody cares about this trailer.
Well, but that's when they release it on the internet. But the world sees it, Monkey. Do you understand how the internet works?
I understand how the internet works. I'm saying nobody cares about this fucking trailer.
You know who does? The studio. The studio cares, Monkey.
We have 204 people watching. Press 1 if you give a fuck about the trailer for Mission Impossible. Press 2 if you think I really don't give a shit. Okay, we'll see what happens with that. So, do we have any YouTube drama? Other than me starting shit with Scribe over Mission Impossible.
Well, you have your no bullshit thing. I guess.
Well, I see. Yeah, it could have been drama. Frankly, I think I handled it pretty well. I tried to be very careful not to lead questions, and I caught myself doing it once and had to stop and to let him put his answers in his own words how he wanted to. But otherwise, yeah, I don't know of any drama going on right now. It's like almost unanimous. Twos are winning. Thank you.
Yes, our sample size of 200.
4 ones. 4.
Yeah, see, I win again. Thank you, Point Curation. Critical Condition has left YouTube. She will be missed. I saw her video and I saw her. You're right. She was arguing with Res Please. Yeah, Res Please. Because she made this video and she's talking about why she's leaving YouTube. Do you guys know Critical Condition?
I do not know.
She does some fairly typical. Was a Jordan Peterson fan. She seems like she's been disillusioned. That's part of what she talks about in her farewell video. But she also says some stuff that's a little bit insulting to other YouTubers. And Rez called her out on this, and she doesn't see a Critical Condition doesn't see where she made an issue there. Like at one point, she says that. And I'm paraphrasing. I have the phrasing wrong, I'm sure. But basically, she thinks it's pathetic for somebody in their 30s to be doing YouTube. Yeah, that's not going to go over well with people over 30 who are doing YouTube. Even if she was meaning herself, when you say it in that manner, because the way she said it was a very general thing. You know, doing YouTube is sad. And she did this a couple of times throughout the video. So you guys can go watch it. It's up on her channel. The channel is Critical Condition. You can also follow her on Twitter, as she suggests in her video that you can still follow her. She's not leaving social media, just YouTube for right now. So anything else? Hey, Satsu's in chat. Don't forget, guys, right after this, me and him will be killing zombies again. And it is Horde night tonight.
Whores. Oh no, sorry, horde.
Okay, so let's move on. Deep topic. Anybody have a deep topic? Because I have one. I had one.
Well, if you have one, why ask us if we?
Well, in case you guys had a better one than I have.
I don't know what yours is.
Well, I was going to be the judge. I wasn't letting you be the judge.
We already know how you would judge.
No, there's many times I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's a much better ranting monkey.
But just go ahead already. Come on.
Lady Monkey's being naughty in the chat.
It's horror night. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a deep topic.
My deep topic actually comes from the No Bullshit stream today. There was somebody on there very, very upset that we didn't have Sargon on, because the whole subject of the stream today was No Bullshit's series on Sargon.
Well, good luck getting Sargon to come on, I guess.
Well, yeah, that's part of it. Sargon doesn't take my calls, guys. Let's just throw that out there first. But they were very upset that we would talk about somebody who wasn't there. And the question came up, is it okay to talk on a live stream about somebody who isn't there? And I'm curious about your thoughts. And I'll be happy to give mine if you want me to go first. But I'm really curious what you guys think.
What? That's I understood it, like, in terms of audio, but how could it not? I mean, if it was not okay, pretty much all of our channels wouldn't exist.
Exactly. Yes.
I mean, yeah. I don't know what to say. Of course it's okay. Why would as long as it's not that you, let's say, allege something that you have no proof for, as long as like you're not let's say badmouth someone, like really bad, like, you know.
Well, yeah, in this case, the only thing we were really critical of Sargon on was his video, and I think that's fair to talk about. And I find it weird because I've seen this come up before. Excuse me, and it is a huge part of things like Kumite, which, if that's what they want to do, that's their business. I'm not saying they can't, but the idea that you're not allowed to ever speak about anyone who isn't there, and that's just insane to me. Nobody.
How could I read the CNN articles every night?
Exactly. Thank you, James Colley. Isn't that the basis of the internet? Butthurt motherfuckers. Yeah. But it's strange to me. Nobody ever goes, you can't talk about Donald Trump. He's not there. But if you talk about Sargon, suddenly it's like, oh, you better get him in there. You're talking about him.
If only talking about Sargon conjured him up. I really wish, like, let us intone the name of Sargon, and suddenly he just, like, appears on the stream. You have summoned me.
Yes.
Yeah.
What say you, believer? That would be awesome.
Imagine Sargon would receive an invitation every time he's mentioned on a stream. Like
man.
If he had his DMs open, they would be full.
He's like God, you know, people just sort of like pray to Sargon and he gets a little note in his inbox. Aha. Another supplicant has mentioned me. Perhaps I will deign them worthy of an audience.
Samel, I think I'm saying that correctly. If I'm not, I apologize. I can't say
Samael.
Okay. I suppose they were talking in the context of the person not being able to be there to defend themselves or their points. And I understand the argument. I do. But if you, as Scribe said, we could not read the news every night if we weren't allowed to talk about people who weren't here. Nobody expects me to go get James Comey to come defend himself. But suddenly,
how about Florida Man?
Yeah, fucking Florida Man. How many of them would we have to have on the show to defend the stupid shit they do and we comment on? So I've seen this come up over and over again lately, and I got to be honest, I felt a little alone until I started actually talking about it, and more people seem to agree, because I do see so many people. Oh, you can't talk about that unless they're there to defend themselves. That just seems so fucking weird to me. We killed my deep topic really fast, guys. Neither of you disagreed.
Because to be fair, it was a really stupid deep topic.
I'm gonna tweet Sargon.
He doesn't have a Twitter anymore.
Oh, he doesn't have a Twitter anymore.
No, he got banned.
Oh, did he? Oh, shut
up. He's on Gab.
Oh, I was going to tweet him, and I was going to say, hey, Sargon, do you ever feel like an invisible pull whenever someone just mentions your name? Que sera.
North Korean says Ranting Monkey, and I did read that right. It says Norse Korean.
There you go. Very good. Very good.
Ranting Monkey, it's because everyone wants blood sports now. They really do.
Yeah.
And I do understand that. And it was kind of a pain in the ass on the stream we did earlier, because one, me and No Bullshit are friends. I do not agree with everything the man says. I don't agree with everything he does. And I have told him this both behind the scenes and in streams before, where I have a disagreement with him. I have no problem telling him. But it was a discussion. It wasn't, I'm going to destroy you. I have no problem with I'm going to destroy you, but it's okay to have normal conversations too, guys.
I must break you.
I must break you.
Can I just say to that comment from North Korean, hashtag not all. I personally, I certainly don't want blood sports. I hate it. I really hate it.
Thank you, Point Curation. Send a letter for real. A letter would stand out. To Sargon?
Sargon? Yeah, good luck.
Seriously, Sargon doesn't take my calls.
Yeah.
Nobody takes my calls.
I did.
You did, and I appreciate that.
Well, when are you going to have Doomed on here?
Well, it's funny you bring that up, because I reached out him today, and hopefully we'll be able to get him on soon.
Oh, cool.
But you missed last night, Scribe. When I was leaving Weibo stream, the last thing that happened was Mining Freedom asked when we would have him on the show again.
Yeah.
And I went to half answer, and then I just cut myself off as a joke.
Ha
And I actually
have you heard my answer on stream afterwards?
I did. I stopped and listened to it.
You did? Okay.
And I don't know if you saw, but in chat I told you I loved you and we'd have you on
soon.
And
I saw that.
I meant to ask you last night if you'd want to come and join us tonight, and I completely forgot until I saw you in here today. So I do thank you for answering the call, because nobody takes my calls, guys. Yeah, because last night somebody asked us when we were going to have Shu or
Right, Skeptic. Yeah.
Greg on. I'm like, yeah, right after Sargon takes my call. I'm guessing.
Mhm.
Maybe I can get Sargon to have Shu come join us.
There you go. That'd be awesome.
What are we talking about in chat here? Oh, we'll get to chat in a minute.
Let me guess. Lacey Green is gonna stop by as well, right?
Yes.
I'm hoping for Milo. When do we get Milo on here?
You know, I think if we could get a little bit bigger, I think we could get Milo on here. I honestly do.
Yeah.
I know people who know Milo, so.
Actually, Joe Rogan. We should get Joe Rogan. Yeah, now that we're talking about like dream casting, it's like, okay, well, anybody we want, yay.
Okay. Just to end this, this ladder, Donald Trump doesn't get bigger.
Oh, if we could get Trump on here, that would be so amazing.
No.
Point curation, Monkey. You should be on a radio station with 100,000 people listening to you. No. You need another zero there, but I appreciate the sentiment that you were going for.
Now you know who we need to get on here. Like just random, a person who would conceivably do it just because random shit is kind of his thing. Bill Murray.
Oh yeah.
If Bill Murray just like randomly dropped into our stream and was like, "Hi guys," like that'd be amazing.
Zerulia, I know I'm fucking that up. You should poke Andy Worski to come on or JF. I don't know if JF would ever do it.
Jean-Francois. I love Jean-Francois.
Andy was supposed to be on once, and Chris came, and I thank Chris for doing it. It was a great show. I don't know if Andy would take my calls anymore either. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Average Apathetic American. On your deep topic, I think it might possibly apply when it's actual slander, but just discussing someone is obviously okay. Criticism isn't slander. Exactly. Well, and even in the case of slander, I mean, you shouldn't be doing that anyhow. But if you are doing that, I don't see the purpose of bringing that person on unless it is just to have the blood sport. And if that's what you're going for, sure. I'm probably not the best judge of this because I'm the one who did it. But I don't think there was much slander of Sargon going on, or at least nothing that I think Sargon desperately needed to answer for in what we were talking about. And not that he fucking would anyway, but I just don't see talking about people as a bad thing. It's what we all do. Nobody stops a video that they're making going, oh, I better reach out to the person I'm talking about and give them a chance to respond. Nobody does that. But again, if you're upsetting certain fan bases, they're like, get them on here. Anyhow,
imagine every time someone talks about Riley Dennis.
Yeah, no shit. And Riley doesn't take anybody's calls.
Yeah.
The other part of that is the notion that you shouldn't talk to people that are somehow controversial. If no bullshit came out tomorrow in favor of an ethno state, I probably would not do live streams with him anymore. He did say on the stream today that he's alt-light, he agreed with Sinatra's version of alt-light, and I've had Sinatra on before, and nobody's been like, you can't associate with him. And what that means is they recognize or say, they believe in the race realism stuff, that it exists, but they don't think it is a basis of deciding policy or advocating an ethno state. Excuse me. So they understand the argument, they just don't agree with the conclusion, and I don't have a problem with that. It's the people who agree with the conclusion I have a problem with. Attack Alpaca, thank you so much. Are you guys a fan of YouTuber Zoe Does Life? If so, do you think there's any chance you could get her to join one night? I've seen some of her stuff, and I do follow her on Twitter. I don't know if she would come on or not.
I'm subscribed to her. I would love to see it. She's recently taken her channel in a different direction a bit. I think she wanted to talk about less about what she did before, like talking about politics and all of that, and the social commentary and all that. And I think, if I remember correctly, she wanted to go more into mental health issues, something like that. I might be completely off the mark here, but
she's got 47 videos and 13,000 subscribers. Why?
Don't you understand internet math?
I apparently don't.
Boobs, dude, boobs.
Okay.
You don't even have to show them; you just have to have them.
Yeah.
Scribe and better titles than you. I mean, your titles are great, but they're not good for SEO, you know.
Oh, for crying out loud! Because I get creative. Because I'm not trying to make clickbait. Okay, I have integrity. Therefore, all right.
Oh fuck!
I think I've opened Pandora's box right there.
Hey, I come up with punny titles that don't try to clickbait. Yeah, no, fine. No, it's fine. No. I don't go for clickbait. You're right. I am the one who's at fault.
German.
I never said that.
Scribe, he just treated you like Britain in the war, man.
I know, right, dude? Jesus.
Scribe.
No. Your tongue is a shovel. The hole is dug. Stop while you're ahead. All right.
Oh fuck. Okay, guys. I'm out of the deep topic here. So, chat. 4 minutes early. We're turning it over to you. We have our German friend here, who, by the way, is one of my favorite guests we've ever had on, because you are very what's the word? You put up with our shit very well.
No.
I put up with a lot of shit in real life too, so I'm kind of used to it.
Well, that's just depressing.
I thought you were going to say you're very. I thought you were going to say you're very Aryan, but that isn't.
Well, probably.
I'm actually not.
Uh-oh.
Are you blonde with blue eyes?
No.
Oh.
Neither of those things.
Neither am I, so whatever.
I do have some Polish roots. I think I mentioned that before, but
Are you related to Weibo?
I was about to say, are you and Rebo like cousins or something?
No, I'm not. I mean, if anything, the height should tell you that it's impossible.
Well, maybe you were on.
I'm 6 foot tall.
Well, maybe you just came out of the maybe you just came out of the deep end of the gene pool.
Well, yeah, my wife is like barely 5 foot, and my son is 6'2". So it can happen. Just throwing that out there. You're German. You should know how genes work. Thank you, Terry. Scribe's titles are the best. I actually love Scribe's titles. I really do. Finding Freedom. How would you compare language controls in Germany as compared with Canada?
I'm not that familiar with language controls in Canada, so that's hard to compare for me. Yeah, it's bad in Germany. Let me just say that. It's really bad. And we're getting pretty much like new hate speech laws and hate speech enforcement laws just every year almost, it feels like. And over blocking right now on the internet is probably the biggest threat to freedom of speech. We don't technically have a freedom of expression, is what it's called here. Overblocking is probably the biggest threat here right now to freedom of expression.
One Ton Hammer says, I find it common that face cam YouTubers almost always do better than avatars. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. I think you can connect very well with your audience with a face cam. But if you look at somebody like Bering, or even to a certain extent, Sargon, you can still do quite well with an avatar. It's more about the content and a little bit of luck.
Yeah.
And clickbait.
And clickbait. Gotta have titties in that thumbnail, y'all. Citron wants to know our thoughts on Kraut's return.
Oh, has he returned? I know
Yes,
he did a
yes, he
live
ha-
stream a while back, but
Well, that's that, and for the moment, I think that counts as a return because he'd been hiding
okay.
for quite a while.
Yeah.
I think he fucked up pretty bad, and it's going to be hard to repair that reputation.
Yeah.
I wish the man no ill will. He did me no harm, but way to fuck it up, dude.
Yeah, give it time. Just give it time. I mean, from how I see it, I'm pretty sure he understands where he fucked up. At least it seems to me that way. He could be lying through his teeth, but ultimately we don't know. But it seems to me that he learned, and just give it time.
Stick up for the German. I see how you are.
Actually, isn't he half English?
I don't fucking know. I know he's a little Hitler Youth thing. What? What'd I say? Isn't that what all Germans are? Hitler Youth? See, Kyle?
Monkey.
Will you guys be doing a movie stream on who killed Captain Alex? I don't think so. Oh, that came from Net. Let's see, what else do we have here? Okay, God, my chat is jumping like crazy tonight. Every time I scroll up, it jumps me back down.
Is it Chris Cross doing it?
Damn you. Scribe uses witty. God fucking damn it. Scribe uses witty titles for intellectual purposes. Got it.
I have fun with my titles. It's true. I really do.
I like your puns and other plays on the English language.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we should give Kraut the same good graces we afforded Lacey Green on her adjustments, assuming he does realize where he done goofed? I don't think they're comparable. The worst Lacey Green ever did was generalize and kind of accuse somebody of rape. So I guess there was a little bit worse there. Well, so maybe. I think you should give people, what was it? What's the old thing? Trust but verify. Give them the shadow of the doubt. If they come back and seem like they're genuine, then just watch for when it falls. I mean, otherwise, he's a YouTuber. If you don't want to watch what he says, don't. There's a whole lot of other people to watch.
I mean, there's a nice German saying for that, which actually is very German if you think about it. Truth is good, not truth. Trust is good. Control is better.
Yeah, that sounds very German.
That is very German. It's not wrong, but
yeah,
I prefer trust but verify.
Yeah. Okay.
Is voting compulsory in Germany? Mining Freedom.
No, it is not, and let's hope it never will be. Not, I gotta say for the record, not that I've ever been not voting in any election we had. I've always gone to the polls, but just let's hope it never happens.
Gerald says, would you or would you not say we are dangerously close to civil war in the United States? No, we're not. No. You might have riots break out, which isn't unusual. I mean, that's almost as much a part of our fucking history as war is, but the idea of a civil war, especially the American Civil War, could not happen today. It just couldn't. The American military would not allow it. It would be squashed in a heartbeat. Unless there was a military coup, I mean, I suppose that could happen. But you would need a you need a military willing to go along with it, and I don't think most military members would be. Anyone else? Okay. Minding Freedom, Scribe Light, and me. Have any of you checked out Roaming Millennials' new show on CRTV? I have not seen it yet. I have not.
No.
I have.
What'd you think?
And
He just asked if we checked it out. I said, yeah.
And I asked you what you thought.
Look, that's German efficiency for you.
This is a follow-up question, motherfucker. That's
Okay,
American.
okay.
It's American for you.
I think the episodes are a bit short, like 10 to 15 minutes only. I
What's
would have
the premise? Is it like a interview show?
Today there was an episode where she interviewed Blair White on transgender children.
Okay.
But that was the first interview. Apart from that, it's pretty much like divided in 3 segments, if you will. I don't even remember the names of the segments, but it's quite interesting, and
interesting. I like how you keep saying it's quite interesting. Very interesting.
Shut up. It's entertaining. I like it.
Okay. Diesel Dave says Suit Yourself would be a great guest. Yeah, me and Suit get along pretty well. I've been on his I might have been on his very first stream. With that, it might be a timing issue because that's Australian time. So what is your favorite?
Your calls?
Actually, he does. Shows what taste the man has.
Wow.
What's your favorite dinosaur?
Henry Kissinger.
Nice. I was going to say Betty White.
No,
you know, I was never a fan of dinosaurs, and I'm still really not.
I always liked Stegosaurus for some reason. I just like the whole little plates on the spine and all that. That always kind of like the spiked tail. I thought that was kind of cool.
Do people keep mum in Germany about speech codes, equity, diversity, inclusivity? Minding. Is there much of a pushback against the you said there's ever more increasing laws about this. Is there much of a pushback at all?
There is some pushback, but it's not well organized, and that's the big problem. You have weirdly enough, you have people from the left pushing against this. You have people from the right pushing against this. You have classical liberals pushing against this. The only people who aren't pushing back are Merkel and her party and the Social Democrats, their coalition partner. That's everyone. Everyone else is like, actually, that's not a cool law. But everyone has a different reason why they don't like the law, and they don't get shit done, and that's just it. Everything stays the way it is. And just today, Merkel went on record to say she doesn't see any problem with the network enforcement law, as it's called, sometimes abbreviated as NetzDG. Might have heard about it. Yeah, she sees no problem with it, and like I've seen in social media, everyone be like, what?
Why do Germans pronounce that G wrong?
What G?
In Angela Merkel.
Angela.
Y'all say it like you're choking on cum or something.
That's how we pronounce it.
Y'all are just wrong. That's all. Reject PPC, or who I call Reggie. Thank you so much. Hey, Monkey, tried to send you money on Thursday, had some problems, so here you go. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate every dime I'm sent. You guys are amazing. Because YouTube ain't giving us money anymore. What would you say or ask Trump if you had a chance to talk to him on stream?
Oh God.
Okay, I would ask him two questions. First, I would ask him if he thought it was unpresidential the way he uses Twitter. There's a lot of more important questions, sure, but that to me is a major thing with him. I have no problem with him using Twitter. It's the way he uses Twitter. It's very much like a 13-year-old boy would do it sometimes, and he's the fucking president. So I would love to know how he would answer that question, and then I would ask him if he licked Stormy Daniels' ass.
I would ask him if he actually ordered hookers in Moscow to perform golden showers for him.
Nice. Scribbles, if you could ask the president something, what would it be? And remember, you only get one question because I would offend him and he'd leave.
You took two questions though.
That's how he's getting offended and leaving.
Oh.
You can ask 14 if you want. I'm just fucking with you.
I would ask him if it hadn't been him and Hillary Clinton running, or in the final stage of things, who would he have wanted to be president?
Oh, that's a good question.
Even if they weren't actually part of the campaign, who would he have liked to have seen in the office if not him?
That is actually a very good question. Scribe's showing me up, damn it.
Oh, I've got another one now.
Go ahead.
Who would he want to be his successor in office?
Well, I mean, it's. I doubt he'd answer that one, but it's like, if it couldn't have been you, who would it have been? Because after that, it's like if he starts prognosticating about who's going to replace him, then he's kind of like giving an endorsement to somebody, and that. I mean, yeah, he's not politically savvy enough to necessarily not answer that question, but I wouldn't answer that.
See,
yeah.
I feel like with him, you got to be more, with the hammer on the head, not,
Point Curation says, who would you want in office now from dead leaders, American or not? This might piss some people off. You know who this country needs right now? Ronald Reagan. And not necessarily for his policies, but for his ability to go, that's fucking stupid, in a way that is humorous, and people are, all right, you're right, that's fucking dumb. He was never afraid to call out stupid shit, and you kind of get that with Trump, but there's no elegance to it. And I think we need somebody who could remind people that it's okay to point out that stupid shit is stupid. Anyone else want to go?
You know what's going on in my head right now?
Hitler.
Stop ruining my joke. I wanted to make this a little more humorous even. I wanted to say, don't say Hitler, don't say Hitler, don't say Hitler, don't say Hitler. I got one. Hitler, goddammit.
Anybody have a serious answer?
In the US or in Germany?
Well, you're in Germany, so do yours for Germany.
This is tough. I feel like if we had our first chancellor, Konrad Adenauer, if we had him back right now, he would. I'm pretty sure. First off, he would unite the people. He was a very uniting chancellor, appreciated by almost everyone, apart from the fringes. He was very decisive, but he also had principles, clear principles. And I feel like that's what Germany is missing the most right now. Merkel is just whatever, wherever the majority is right now, I'm gonna go there.
Scribbles?
So,
all right. Restate the question just so I make sure I'm on the right page here.
Who would you want to be president? The way the question was listed, it seemed like from dead people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, just any point in history or whatever?
But yeah, but they would have to be, if you could bring anybody back to life to be president right now, who would it be?
Christopher Hitchens.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, you know, it's so difficult to tell, you know, who's going to be a good president or not or whatever else. I mean, and it's all a matter of opinion. Like Ronald Reagan, I mean, it's a joke in Back to the Future. Would anybody have imagined that Ronald Reagan would become president of the United States? You know, and what a joke that was back then. And some people think he's the greatest president ever to have lived, and some people think he's pretty much a con man. And I'm somewhere in between, depending on the situation. I think presidents, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, are forged by the circumstances they find themselves in. You know, it's kind of put to the test as to what kind of person they really are, because you never really know what it's going to be president until you're there, and then you kind of test by trial by fire, basically. Sure.
Big Worm asks, Monkey, do you think Ronald Reagan would have the same impact today as he did in the past? I do. Much of Ronald Reagan's impact was the time he was president, more than what he did at the time. Yep. We were just coming out of Carter, which was a fucking disaster. Not that Carter is a bad man. He was not a good president. And the morale in America was so low at the time. And you basically had a man saying MAGA. It was Make America Great Again without saying Make America Great Again. And if you think Donald Trump was a good candidate, or was, maybe not a good candidate, but a product of the time, Reagan would have stepped in and done very well in this climate. Now, I don't think Reagan was the best president ever. I don't think Reagan was necessarily always an honest man. There's definite problems with his presidency. But as far as just the direction of the country, I think he would be perfect right now. Let's see. What else do we have here? Mash has asked us a couple of times if we'd ever do a movie review of Full Metal Jacket. Scribe can, but I'm not going to, because one, that's a depressing fucking movie, and I didn't really care for it. Scribe, do you have thoughts on Full Metal Jacket?
It's one of the best war movies ever made. It's not necessarily the best. I think, well, there's a couple of contenders I could go in, but as far as Kubrick's movies are concerned, it's at least in the top 3.
I mean, we could do it, but I'm going to rip it apart while he likes it. So
yeah, I mean, it's a difficult movie to digest, and there's so much going on. I don't know that we could do it in like a single stream. I don't know.
Not to mention, it gets into a lot of politics that I really don't like the idea of bringing into the stream for the movies. I like the movie streams to be fun.
Yeah, relatively speaking, yeah.
Who was the best president? Oh, wow.
The best president?
I don't think that's something you can qualify. I really don't. Because it's all dependent on their time.
I think the president who had the greatest long-lasting impact was probably FDR. Now, you can categorize the long-lasting impact as good or bad.
Yep.
But I think he had the greatest long-lasting impact of our presidents in total.
Certainly. And again, yeah, for better or worse, FDR definitely. And let's be honest, part of that is the fact that the man was president for more than a decade.
Yeah, and again, and like I said before, it's also a matter of the fact that he was president during the time that he was president.
Yes.
The circumstances he found himself in really defined what kind of president he turned out to be in the retrospect. And that's why I think that, anybody can be president. What kind of president they end up being is a matter of backwards perspective. I mean, we don't
Sure.
know what kind of president Trump's going to be until after he's out of office, honestly. So,
Terry Diamandis, thank you. Best president was Scribe. We're talking bondage clubs, right?
that is right. I was the best president of the Bondage Club. That is absolutely true.
No, I don't think it's easy to do best presidents. You can do worst presidents. I mean, Grant was a fucking horrible president. Nixon, horrible fucking president. There's lots of really bad ones, but the product of their time is a big issue. I mean, you could look at somebody like I'm a huge fan of Jefferson, but he didn't even really consider the office to be that important.
Right.
And so it depends. But if you want to just talk about, and I'm going to use Scribe's example here, the most impactful president we've ever had is by far FDR. That does not mean I support what he did. Doesn't mean I think everything he did was shit. But yeah, I mean, there's no denying he shaped the 21st century, the latter half of the 20th and the 21st century so far. Jefferson was a sex addict.
Okay. So was Martin Luther King, supposedly. So.
Men like sex. That's just,
yeah. Strangely enough.
The one tell you. Academic Cub says Ford was one of the best presidents. Will never receive credit for what he did. I think he gets the perfect credit for what he did. Pardoning Nixon was a dumbass move, and I realize that was part of making him president. But
well, I've heard good arguments as to why he did it, and that the effect of taking Nixon's fate out of the running was necessary for the political healing of the country in a backwards way. And again, I know that sounds counterintuitive. I can't make the argument as eloquently as I've heard it, but I've heard it made, and it was a convincing argument, though I don't know if I accept it fully.
I get what you're saying, and I can see the idea for that. But I think a better way to heal would have been to let the legal system play out. I think we probably would have avoided Carter that way.
Well, again, it's one of those things where it's like a prolonged. It's one of those like no-win situations. It's like, okay, do we fully prosecute the president and have a prolonged political morass that dominates everything and even disallows the current president from acting because everything's being going into investigating and prosecuting the president for impeachment and all this other stuff? Or do we make the unfortunate thing of just saying we need to move on despite that? It was kind of the same thing, kind of the same conundrum you've run into with the whole Hillary thing. Were you going to spend the first year of your presidency prosecuting Hillary Clinton for everything she might or might not have done? Or do you need to focus on your agenda as the president? And again, it's one of those things where the pragmatic answer of letting the bad guy get away with it is not the answer you want to have, but it might unfortunately be the most efficient answer. That's the kind of thing I was seeing it as. So, yeah.
Average apathetic American, thank you. What about FDR? FDR now? Guy in a wheelchair telling social justice warrior snowflakes to toughen up would be priceless. They couldn't say shit about it. Yeah, but if you see the changes FDR made at the time, imagine what he would be doing now. I mean, the social safety net as we have it now, lots of people like to point to FDR for that, but what he suggested at the time is nowhere close to what we have now.
No kidding.
But he was considered ahead of his time then. So if you take him out of that time period and bring him into a time period where that is already a thing, he'd be fucking Bernie Sanders. Let's be honest. You okay over there, Freedom?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have much to talk about with, American politics, history. Yeah,
I get that.
Especially history, like American politics now. I consider myself to be fairly well versed for a German, at least. But history, yeah. I'm not that familiar with that. So
Okay, here's a question, and I already know my answer to this. Do we want Obama prosecuted for his role in framing Trump with this Russia collusion narrative?
If you can prove that he was involved, then sure. Will it happen even if you could? Probably not. It's again one of it's like the too big to fail scenario. You know, do you do more or less damage by trying to prosecute somebody on? You'd have to have rock solid proof that he was criminally liable for something, and unfortunately, I don't think you're going to find it.
Yeah, I would be willing to say the Obama administration let a lot of things happen, but to hold them directly responsible, I don't think we have enough evidence for.
Yeah.
Ace Phoenix says, let's see if Monkey can say this.
Oh, God.
Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Yay! Da, 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 da,
Yes,
da,
I can.
Yay, Monkey.
Guys, we got 5 minutes left. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, things you'd like the German to talk about, now's the time.
The German.
Don't push it too far, though.
Yeah, nothing that'll get him in trouble. Just if you have questions for him. Actual Justice Warrior says, if Trump threatened to break the Supreme Court by packing it, the left would lose their minds. FDR did it, scared the Supreme Court into changing their ruling, and he's their hero. There's definitely an argument to be made that FDR did exactly that. Yep. And I don't think you can just say that if Trump did that, people would lose their minds. If Obama had done it, because here's the thing, guys, we have 9 members of the Supreme Court. There's no rule that says we have to have 9 members of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court could be 3 people. It could be 15 people. It could be 45 people. So yeah, there's no rule to that. And we could have a president who goes, you know what? I want more justices.
Yep. You could make it 15, it doesn't really matter.
What else do we have here? Constitution, mate. It's written. I don't know what you're talking about there. If you're talking about the Supreme Court, there is no rule on how many people are on the Supreme Court in the Constitution. I promise you that, because it didn't used to be 9.
Yep.
Let's see. What else do we have going on here? You guys are quiet with questions tonight. Not that I mind. It's not your job to talk. It's my job to talk. Have Minding talk about the 120 dB movement. I have no idea what that is.
That is a movement that was recently started mostly in Germany, but not completely, like all of Europe pretty much, but mostly concentrated in Germany. Young women speaking out against the pretty much the open border policy of Merkel and the refugee crisis and all that. I have my problems with that movement, though, because as I found out, I think a day or 2 ago, Generation Identity is behind that movement. They started it, and they don't show it very openly. You have to dig a little deeper to find out that they're behind this. And
who's that?
I have my problem with Generation Identity because I mean they're the European alt-right. So.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so I'm very sympathetic to every movement of women, or pretty much any movement standing up against the open border policy, as long as it's not alt-right or even worse, like neo-Nazi or anything. But that's where I have the problem with the 120 dB movement.
What are your thoughts on open borders? Do you
fuck him?
Points asking which chat on YouTube is the best ever and who has the best audience on YouTube. Our chat and our audience is the best, and that is absolutely true. Backscan says, as it stands now, do you think anyone's going to jail over the memo?
Too early to tell. I would be surprised, but I think it's too early to tell.
Yeah, I would say probably not. Not with how it stands now. I think people, if that memo is accurate, people definitely need to.
I think the worst that happens is either firings and or resignations.
Yep.
I would be surprised if criminal charges are either levied against or prosecuted anyone on them. Yeah.
I mean, we've already seen the resignation of Andrew McCabe, so I'm pretty sure that is connected to the memo. He did it before the memo came out, but come on.
No, he did it when the day that they voted on it. So,
yeah, pretty much. Just a few hours before it came out.
Yeah, he knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Guys, that is the top of the hour, and I would like to thank you guys so much for coming, for the super chats, for hanging out with us every night, and listening to the odd conversations we have. I mean, last night you guys stuck around for dick rabies. I don't know. I don't know how to thank an audience more than saying you stuck around for dick rabies. You are awesome. Scribe, a pleasure as always. Minding, thank you so much for jumping in with us tonight. I am sorry I forgot to give you the link at the beginning, but we'll have you back on again sometime. It's always fun talking with you. Everybody,
thank you for having me.
Oh, indeed. Everyone, your life makes me sad. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Say bye, Minding.
Bye.